The first GOP debate demonstrated again how abortion will be a key issue for voters in 2024. And one of Governor DeSantis' comments that night now has both sides talking. You may recall it. He said, quote, "I know a lady in Florida named Penny. She survived multiple abortion attempts. She was left discarded in a pan. Fortunately, her grandmother saved her and brought her to a different hospital." Now, Democrats attacked this. They were quick to dismiss Penny Hopper's story, some even accusing DeSantis of lying about that abortion survivor. Hopper's story had been previously featured in a pro-life ad that debuted at the 2020 March for Life in Washington, D.C. And Penny Hopper, that woman, is here with us today to talk about the reaction her story has caused. Penny, thank you so much. Pleasure to have you today on Newsline.
Thank you for having me.
You know, your voice is so important for the pro-life movement, but this is your story. And for viewers who don't know a lot about it, you were 1 pound, 11 ounces at that failed abortion attempt back in 1955. You talk a little bit about your grandmother who saved you from the clinic's back porch. What would you like to share for viewers who haven't maybe been keeping up with this? But a lot of people say this is a miracle. You're a miracle.
Well, my father had taken my mother to the local clinic, and she was very sick. And when they arrived, the doctor had gone home for the day, and the doctor was called to come back down because I guess he came down. He came down in his pajamas. He listened for a heartbeat. He said, "We're going to have to abort. I do not hear a heartbeat." In the meantime, he looked at both my parents and he said, "You do not want this baby to live. If it lives, it will be blind or mentally challenged." I think he used the word retarded, is what my father told me. And under his orders, I was to be discarded dead or alive.
Wow.
On the back porch of the clinic.
What was your reaction when people started talking about your story and saying it was, there were words like ludicrous and there were, very strong reaction from the left? And here you are sharing it and sharing it proudly, I'll say, because there are other abortion survivors out there and only 10 states actually require to have reports on who they are, Penny.
Well, I guess I've known my story all my life, and I always knew that it was important because my parents always said you were a miracle. But it wasn't until 2010 that I actually found out I was a failed home abortion, which brought a whole new light to the story. My dad always made it seem like you were placed on the back porch and you were placed in a basket. I later found out that it was actually a bedpan from a family member. And anyway, I have documentation. I have.
But how sad is that you are trying to prove a story in this, type of climate when there's so many people out there saying you're exactly why late-term abortions are things that our legislators have to prevent, Penny? I have about a minute left, but kind of let us know where you want Americans who maybe are independent, who are looking at abortion as something that they'll vote on in this coming election.
Okay, well, I was 23 weeks. I was a viable human being. And other than a paralyzed vocal cord from being intubated, I survived. And I survived it at a time in 1955 where there wasn't a lot of medical treatment, medical procedures to save a life. But there are thousands and thousands of abortion survivors with miraculous stories. And no matter how their circumstances came about that they were aborted, they were still human beings. They still have the right to live. And I think all the stories need to be told.
Penny Hopper, a pleasure to have you today. Thank you so much for sharing your voice and your story with us.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Pretty incredible. Joining us now to talk a little bit closer about this is President of 40 Days for Life, Sean Carney. Sean, good to see you. Welcome back to the broadcast. Hearing Penny's story and realizing there are a lot of others out there. What's your response to people who were critical of her, saying this story wasn't true, that this was lies?
It's shameful. And I guess the reason they have to criticize Penny and say, no, you didn't survive an abortion, is because it forces them to look at what abortion is designed to do, which is barbarically end the life of an unborn human being. And unfortunately, abortion is very efficient at doing just that. It's the only surgery where it's successful if you don't live.
Yep.
It doesn't rip or tear in order to heal like legitimate health care. It rips and tears in order to kill. And you're just not supposed to survive an abortion because abortion kills a baby. That's what it's designed to do. And so these beautiful stories of Penny and so many others highlight that reality. And I guess the only response is to just deny it, to deny that they survived an abortion in a very dark, messaging format. But I think it's very good for the pro-life movement. Survivors are very common. We have Gianna Jessen, who was a survivor in abortion, ironically had her abortion doctor sign her birth certificate. Claire Colwell, who had a twin who was aborted and she survived.
Yes.
They're beautiful stories, and they highlight how brutal and barbaric and dated abortion is.
Well, that's where you were going, and I'm glad you brought up the word healthcare, because they try to say it is healthcare. It is not for the unborn fetus. It is not for abortion survivors, as we know. The Washington Post there, blatantly advocates for late-term abortions here in this op-ed, saying it's safe, it improves and saves lives. Ask Penny Hopper that. She would disagree. And also, I have a clip here from Jen Psaki, once, the White House press secretary, now with her platform on MSNBC. Can we play this clip here, what she's talking about here?
At the end of the day, the point here is that no one is rooting for late-term abortions. No one is running on the platform of aborting viable babies. No one is selling late-term abortions as Ron DeSantis claims. No one, not Joe Biden, not Kamala Harris, not Hillary Clinton, not Nancy Pelosi, or any other politician demonized by the right wing, roots for more late-term abortions. None of them do.
Sean, people hear that and they won't do any research and they'll think it's true. I mean, U.S. Senate Democratic leaders killed a bill that would have required care for babies that survive abortion. That's it. That's the truth, full stop. Whether Psaki wants to sit there and deny that, we know the truth.
Yeah, it's just blatantly false. I mean, it's not that it's a fringe thought. This is a major political viewpoint by most Democrats. It's like saying nobody out there wants to cut taxes or nobody out there wants to take care of our veterans. It's just false. It's a common belief. Governor Cuomo lit up the Empire State Building to celebrate abortion up to 40 weeks. In 2019, we heard Governor Northam, with his creepy accent, describe an abortion and leaving a baby who survived an abortion out to die. He described it in detail. This is a common belief by the left. For her just to say, no, no one believes that, we didn't make it up. It's well documented that it's the position of the left. And it's something that Planned Parenthood wants to get out of. But they don't like people talking about abortion survivors and the humanity of the baby and all of these things. And so usually the abortion advocates are very out of touch with those who actually do the abortions. And that's on full display right now.
John Carney, good to see you. Appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you.